This is second grade into math, module 18, lesson 6. We are working on measure in inches and feet, and the I can statement is I can measure objects to the nearest inch and the nearest foot, and describe how measuring in feet is different from measuring in inches. Please gather your workbook and a pencil and turn to page 454. We will start under Build Understanding. Find a board in your classroom. Use an inch ruler to measure the length of the board to the nearest inch. Then measure its length to the nearest foot. Okay, so if you're at home, you might not have a bulletin board. Or if you do and you want to do this on your own, you can pause and go ahead and do that and come back. But your board is going to be different measurement than mine because our boards are not the same. So I'm going to show you a picture of a bulletin board and use a ruler. You can follow along with me, or you can pause, do this part on your own, and come back. Okay, so here is a bulletin board and a 12-inch or 1-foot ruler. I am going to line up my ruler here with the 0 mark starting right where the bulletin board starts. And I go all the way across, but I still have all of this to measure. So I'm just going to make a little mark right here where the ruler ends. And then I'm going to pick up my ruler and I'm going to start it right where that mark was. And then I'm going to make another little mark right here because that's where this ruler ends from start to finish. Then I'm going to pick up my ruler and I'm going to move it over, and it will go from the start mark here till the end of the bulletin. We're pretty close. So we found that there was 1, 2, 3 rulers, and that is each ruler is 12 inches. So we have 12 inches plus 12 inches plus 12 inches. And so we know that 12 plus 12 plus 12 is 36. So we know that this bulletin board is 36 inches. And we can answer that for part A. Well, what if we want to look at it in feet? Well, we know that one of these rulers right here is 1 foot. So how many feet did we have? We had 1, 2, 3. Or 1 plus 1 plus 1, which makes 3 feet. So 36 inches is the same thing as 3 feet. So how can we answer part B? What is the length of the board in feet? It is 3 feet. Great job. So looking at our paper, we wrote in that there was 36 inches for our bulletin board, and we said that that's the same thing as 3 feet. So now we're ready to look at part C. Which unit is longer, 1 inch or 1 foot? So I have shown the 1 foot or 12-inch ruler right here, and then I have just 1 inch right here. So this may help you answer this question. Which unit is longer? Is it the 1 inch or is it the 1 foot? Go ahead and answer that now. The right answer is 1 foot because that is the longer unit. All right, let's take a look at part D. Did you count more inches or more feet to measure the length of the board? Let's go back and look at our answers. We said there were 36 inches and 3 feet for the same board. So which one was more? Well, inches was more. So we can answer more inches. All right, let's take a look at part E. Compare the measurements. What did you notice? Draw or write about it. We kind of did this on the other page. Remember, we said the board was 3 feet long and 36 inches long. So remember, we measured 12 inches plus 12 inches plus 12 inches. And we said, oh, all together, that makes 36. And then we said, oh, well, let's look at the feet. There was 1 foot plus 1 foot plus 1 foot, and that made 3 feet. So we measured the same item with the same ruler. We just did it in different ways. One was inches, and the other was feet. Because we know there are 12 inches in 1 foot, we know that 3 feet is the same as 36 inches. Nice work. Let's look at Step It Out, Part 1. Use an inch ruler to measure a poster. So again, you may want to pause and go get your inch ruler and measure a poster on your own. I won't be able to check or follow along with me because I'm going to use the picture that's on this page with my ruler. But you're welcome to go do that and have someone check your work. And you can always come back and watch this part as well if you'd like. So here's a poster and my inch ruler, and I'm going to measure the poster to the nearest inch and write in the inches here. So I take this ruler and I put the ruler, line it up with the edge of the poster and make a little spot where the end of the ruler goes. So from the beginning of the poster to where it ends here. So then I'm going to take this ruler and pick it up and move it over to measure the next. And it's just about over, but I would say that it's pretty close. So we will just estimate here that say that was 12 inches for this first one. And then we're going to say 12 inches for this second part. So we know that 12 plus 12 makes 24. So we can write in here that it was 24 inches for this poster. And then we can look at how to measure the poster to the nearest foot. We know that one ruler is 1 foot. So we had 1 here, that would be 1 foot, 1 foot, and then we had another foot here. So we're going to add 1 foot plus 1 foot, and we get 2 feet. So we can answer that the nearest foot would be 2 feet. And now we're ready to look at part C. Which measurement is greater? The number of inches, which is 24, or the number of feet, which is 2. Explain your answer. So we're looking at, we have the number 24 and the number 2. Which measurement is greater? We've got 24 inches or 2 feet. So we can explain that the number of inches is greater because it takes 12 inches to match the length of 1 foot. So remember, these are the same thing. It's still 24 inches and 2 feet. This part right here is still the same. It doesn't change. But the unit that we're using, inches, takes 12 and then 12. When we're using feet, it only takes 1 and 1. So the number of inches is greater because it takes 12 inches to match 1 foot. Okay, let's check for understanding. This asks us to use an inch ruler to measure the length of a cabinet to the nearest inch and the nearest foot. So again, you may want to pause and go try this on your own and have someone check your answers because your cabinet's going to be different than mine. Or you can just follow along with me. Here is my cabinet and my 1 foot ruler or 12-inch ruler. I'm going to take my ruler, line it up from the start of the cabinet right here, and then I lay it flat and I make a little mark where it ends. Then I pick up my ruler and I go to where I last left off, and I measure the next part and I make a little mark so I know where I left off, and then I pick up my ruler and I lay it down flat again, and I measure the next part of this, make a dot, pick up my ruler, and it measures all the way to the end of the cabinet. So now we're going to take a look at, we have how many inches we use. So we're going to do inches first. So here was 1, and we know that 1 ruler is 12 inches. Then we had another one here, and that would be another 12 inches. So we're going to add 12 inches. And we had another one from here to here. So we're going to add 12 inches. And then the last one was from here to here, all the way to the end of the cabinet. And so we're going to add 12 more inches. And so when we add 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12, we get the answer of 48, and that we're using inches. So our first answer is that it's 48 inches. Now we're going to look at it just using feet, because we know that one 12-inch ruler is 1 foot. So here we had 1, and so we said, oh, that's 1 foot. And then we had another foot here, so we're going to add another 1. And then we had another one here that we laid down, so that's another foot. And we had 1 more from here to here, and so we'll add another 1. So here we have 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, and we know that's pretty easy to add. That's 4 feet. So we can fill in our answer here. We had 48 inches and we had 4 feet. Now we're ready to answer part 2. Which cabinet measurement is smaller, the number of inches or the number of feet? So we're looking at feet and inches. Which number is smaller? That's right. It's the number of feet. So just remember that you can always go back and re-watch this video and pause anytime as needed. Nice work today.